war began without a warning. One minute the stars above Earth were peaceful. The next the sky was filled with fire. Ships, massive alien crafts, ripped through the clouds like blades. The United Nations called it First Contact. But it wasn't friendly. Dr. Aaron Kale had never held a weapon. He was a xenobiologist working late hours studying Earth's own animals. When the invasion started, he was flown to a hidden bunker under a medical assignment because humans had already captured something. Or rather, someone. She wasn't like the others who attacked. Her skin shimmered like pearl and moved like silk over muscle. Her eyes were almost human, but glowing softly. The soldiers called her Specimen Red, but she had a name. Dr. Kale saw it in the report. Gerald. She had been found unconscious near the ruins of a fallen alien ship, her, breathing shallow, her body strange. Kale stepped into the glass observation chamber. She was floating in a stasis pod, barely moving. "You're not like the others," he whispered, but as he leaned in closer, her eyes opened. Red, glowing, and locked on his. He stumbled back. "She's awake." The guards rushed in, but Jarell didn't attack. Instead, her glowing hand pressed gently against the pod's glass, right where Aaron stood. What no one knew, what even she didn't expect, was that this human would soon uncover the greatest biological mystery in the galaxy, and he wasn't ready, not even close. Dr. Elias Reed stood frozen in front of the containment unit. The alien girl inside lay motionless, her skin a pale blue, nearly translucent under the sterile lights. She had injuries across her chest and limbs, but none of them looked fatal. The problem was, no one knew how her species worked. The military, staff had already given up. They called her a lost cause, just another alien casualty in the long war that had recently ended. But Elias wasn't like the others. He had spent years studying alien anatomy, most of it theory, rare cases, or archived files from failed missions, yet nothing had prepared him for this. Her physiology was strange, elegant, and dangerously misunderstood. The other doctors refused to even enter the room. Rumors had spread. Whispers that her species' biology was unstable, possibly venomous, or worse, contagious. Still, something about her eyes barely open when he had walked in had spoken to him. She wasn't just an alien. She was alive. And scared. Elias activated the scanner, and as it hovered over her, the screen displayed erratic pulses, moving patterns beneath her skin. Not blood, not bones, something else. Suddenly, one of the internal organs shifted. It moved. Elias took a step back. What he thought was a scar along her ribs flexed like it had a mind of its own. It was no wound. It was alive. He stared at the screen. Breath held. Whatever this girl was, her body wasn't just healing, it was changing, and the real mystery had just begun. Dr. Elias Reed couldn't tear his eyes away from the monitor. The so-called scar on the alien girl's side twisted again, almost like it sensed it was being watched. He leaned closer, narrowing his eyes as his gloved hand hovered over the scanner. There was no doubt now. Something was alive inside her, and it wasn't part of any anatomy humans had ever studied. "She's not stable," one of the medical assistants whispered from behind the sealed window. "Pull out, doctor. We're not losing another human over a science experiment." Elias ignored them. His heart pounded as he watched the pulsating motion beneath her skin. The alien girl's breathing deepened, and for the first time, her eyes opened, wide and glowing with soft violet light. Her gaze locked onto Elias, and for a split second he felt something. A message without words. Then she convulsed. The medical bed's alarms blared. Her limbs spasmed. Tubes ripped out of her arms and strange bioluminescent fluid splattered across the floor. Elias lunged to restrain her, but she was strong, unnaturally strong. Her body lifted halfway off the table before collapsing again, breathing ragged. And just like that, it stopped. Everything went still. The lights, the monitor, her body. Frozen. But her eyes were still open, still staring at him. "Doctor," she whispered, her voice trembling, alien, but somehow soft. "Don't let them cut me open." Elias felt a chill. Who was she, and what were they hiding inside her? Dr. Elias Reed stood frozen. The words had definitely come from her lips, but they weren't processed through any translator chip. They were clear, human, and filled with something deeper. Fear. "Who are you?" Elias whispered, even though he knew she wouldn't or couldn't answer again. But her eyes blinked once, slowly, as if acknowledging the question. Then, her body began to glow faintly, the soft light outlining something just beneath her skin. Elias instinctively stepped back. It looked like tendrils. Not veins, not nerves. Actual tendrils, twitching and shifting within her. His hands trembled. He checked the vitals. Everything was still functional, yet fluctuating wildly. Her heartbeat was slower than human norms, but steady. Her brain activity was off the charts. Even the AI assistant monitoring her leaned into its alert mode. Suddenly, the observation window behind him flickered. The head of Xenomedical Research, Dr. Varnak, a grizzled Corellian, appeared on the holoscreen. "Dr. Reed," Varnak said sharply, "step away from subject E9. She is not to be directly engaged." "Why?" Elias demanded. "She's alive. She spoke to me. And something is inside her that—" "That's exactly why," Varnak interrupted. "Her biology is classified. You were only cleared to stabilize her, not understand her." Elias narrowed his eyes. "You knew, didn't you, that she was awake?" A tense silence. Then Varnak said flatly, "If you don't step away in 10 seconds, your clearance is revoked. This is bigger than you, Doctor." But Elias had already made up his mind. He wasn't walking away. Not now. Not after what he'd seen. Dr. Elias Reed didn't move from the alien girl's side. His pulse was racing, not from fear, but from a rising certainty that everything he had been told was a lie. She was no specimen. She was someone. As if reacting to his defiance, the stasis chamber let out a soft hiss. The cocoon's outer layer shimmered, then faded into transparency. The alien girl's chest rose more, steadily now. Her eyes, those glowing bioluminescent green eyes, opened fully. They stared right into his soul. "You shouldn't be here," she said again, this time louder. Her voice was smooth, haunting, and carried no hint of human tone processors. She was speaking through some form of advanced telepathy or instinct. Elias swallowed hard. "Who are you?" Her lips moved slowly. "My name is Elenia, and they lied to you." Before he could speak, the lab lights dimmed. Emergency alarms began to blare. The doors to the chamber sealed themselves with a loud clang. A robotic voice echoed through the speakers. "Containment breach. All personnel must evacuate level 3. Elias turned sharply toward the control pad. His clearance wasn't enough to override the lockdown. He was trapped inside. With her. Elenia sat up slowly, the energy inside her now, visibly surging under her skin. Her markings pulsed with a strange rhythm. "They'll come to erase this," she said softly. "They fear what I am, what I can awaken." "Awaken?" Elias repeated. She reached out and gently touched his wrist. The world around him vanished for a second. In its place, he saw visions of stars burning, of ships fleeing, of an empire falling, and at the center of it all, her. Elenia's voice echoed in his mind. "Now you see it too. I wasn't sent here to be studied. I was sent here to be found." Elias stumbled back, gasping, as the vision faded. It had lasted only a second, but it felt like he had lived a lifetime in her memory. The things he had seen, starships fleeing through wormholes, alien worlds turning to ash, titanic machines clawing at the edge of reality. It wasn't just history, it was prophecy. Elenia's glowing eyes didn't leave his. "Now you understand," she whispered. They feared I would bond with a human, that your kind would unlock what others could not. Elias backed into the control panel, mind still spinning. What did I see? That wasn't just memory, it was truth, she said. Buried truth hidden in my DNA, but only awakened when linked with a mind not corrupted by the galactic war. He swallowed hard. Why me? Alenia tilted her head, silver-white hair cascading over her shoulders. Because you're not like them. You asked me if I felt pain. They never did. The lockdown lights turned red. From the overhead speaker, a cold voice announced, "Security team en route, prepare for purge." Alenia stood, energy flowing around her like a protective veil. They will not let me live. Not after this connection. Elias knew he had only moments. We can escape through the medical corridor. I can trigger a false biohazard alarm and reroute the team. She stepped closer, placing her hand over his heart. I trust you, human, but once we run, there's no going back. He took a breath. Then we run. As alarms blared and the lab doors shook from approaching soldiers, Elias disabled the internal locks. Together, they sprinted through the side corridor, man and alien, one carrying the universe's forbidden truth, and the other awakening a power no one could have predicted. The emergency corridor hissed open. Elias and Alenia burst through the threshold, the sound of boots thundering not far behind. Alenia's form shimmered. Her skin pulsed with ethereal patterns, no longer just reactive, but now active, like her body was awakening, evolving. They ducked into a maintenance shaft and Elias keyed in the override code. This tunnel leads to the surface. From there I can get us off station, he said, panting. Alenia turned her glowing gaze toward him. You still don't see it, do you? See. What? He asked, swallowing hard. You didn't just activate memories, Elias, you changed me. Her voice trembled not with fear but power. You triggered a genetic protocol designed to bond with a species that could love, protect, sacrifice. Elias stared at her as her figure subtly shifted, her form refining, her glow brighter, her presence more intense, more alive. You mean, humanity is the missing key? She nodded. Not in weaponry, not in technology, in emotion. Your biology responds to empathy stronger than anything the galaxies have ever known. A deep rumble shook the shaft. The station was initiating lockdown purge. Suddenly, a communication ping came through Elias's neural comlink. Dr. Elias, this is Commander Hart. You're aiding an alien fugitive. Surrender now or be marked as a traitor. Alenia stepped in front of him. They won't understand, but if you stay with me, we can show them. Elias made his choice. He replied to the comm. Then mark me. Because she's not the threat. You are, for fearing what you don't understand. With one final command, he shut down the shaft sensors, and together, they vanished into the cold, uncharted wilderness of a nearby moon. In the silence, Alenia turned to him. You were never just a doctor. You were the beginning of something new. And for the first time, Elias believed it.